My name is Rhapsody, welcome back to Disco Elysium. Alright, let's talk to the friend here now.
Oh, I have really outdone myself. This is divine.
He takes a bite out of his sandwich.
Yes, that's what you need, Gaston. More padding on that fat ass of yours. I hope your heart gives out.
René, it's the little pleasures. Life doesn't need to be a struggle. Oh, hello, officer. How might I be of assistance on this fine day?
Tell me what, you know what? Let's start with a little bit of small talk. What are the rules of this game?
Oh, the goal is to throw your bull
He holds out the orbs.
as close to the cornichet as you can. Cochonnet. That's the cochonnet.
He points towards a small wooden ball in the center of the crater. I think that's all I need to know about pétanque. You know what? No. Interesting. Tell me more about it.
Well, first you draw a circle about half a meter in diameter. We made ours out of rope,
He explains.
but then the order of play is determined by a coin toss. You win it, you get to throw the cochonnet. Then the players aim to throw their bulls as close to the cochonnet as possible. They must stay inside the circle and keep both feet planted.
Is there anything else you can tell me about playing pétanque?
I could, but I'd rather not.
He smiles.
I don't want to take up your time with the trivia details, officer.
I think I get it. Thanks, Gaston.
You'll put that knowledge away for good use in 50 years. I'm sure of that, officer.
I don't like where this is going, officer. Don't you think you should go do something else by now? No, I want to talk to him. I promise it won't be about pétanque. He sighs. Hurry up then. Tell me, what do you know about the dead man?
Let me think.
He looks at the clouds wistfully.
I heard someone was hanged and left on a tree for a week, but that's all I know, really.
Come on, you must have heard something.
No, officers, I'm sorry, and I really would like to assist.
He adds, smiling apologetically.
You're both good guys. I can see that.
Then help them, you wimp. Reproach fills his eyes. You rub plenty of shoulder with the gauche caviar in the Union. Someone must know something. He means caviar socialists.
I wish I could, but I just don't know anything.
His cheeks turn red.
I always keep my nose clean and don't gossip. Everyone knows and respects that.
Odd, he doesn't seem to be lying, but there's something off about it here. Sounds like you're holding a bit back.
I'm not.
I assure you.
I'm not even an...
And of course he's holding back. The carabiner across his arms. His mouth is so full of Union prick he can't even speak properly.
Can I at least finish my fucking sentence before you piss on it? Is that okay, René?
His eyes are furious.
I'm not anyone important in the Union. I just know Everett.
How do you know Everard?
Everyone in Martinet knows the Clare brothers.
He says solemnly. No, that's not exactly solemn. I should read ahead and get the kind of tone occasionally. I try to. It's just not always that easy to do while reading the words at the same time.
I taught these boys human studies and history in the gymnasium.
What do you know about history? The carabiner snaps at Gaston. You never witnessed history. Only ever heard about it years later when it was already moved on. You don't know history. The old soldier mumbles something under his breath and turns to face the sea. There he stands, proud, rigid, and alone, like a crackling marble statue. Let's try not to get caught in the lieutenant lowers his voice. Crossfire. Lest we leave riddled with bullet holes. This animosity is ancient. Are you a Union member?
Oh,
His cheeks turn red again.
in many ways, yes. Like an honorary member. I attend the meetings and parties, help with little things. Everett, Edgar, and the older Debailleurs all know me.
In many ways?
Oh, yes.
So you're not an actual member?
Not in the technical sense.
His eyes fix on the bulls in the crater.
I don't have a vote or membership card, but Everett keeps me on the payroll just for little things.
So that's what it was before. Him hiding something. He tries to make it look like he's a big deal in the Union, and now the illusion is disintegrating before your and Renee's eyes. He doesn't know anything, because no one tells him anything. He's an outsider. Of course, he's not a member. He's not a member of anything. I know that. He frowns. He's a weatherman. Who turns to where the wind blows and tries to look important. I hate the socialist, Robert. He continues. But even starting with them is better than living your entire life on the fence, never committing to anything. Pick a damn side already. What are the little things you do for Eberhard?
Writing work mostly.
He smiles.
Occasionally he needs something written and I happen to have a way with words, people say.
What kinds of things do you write for him?
Oh, nothing official, I'll show you. Just essays on newspapers. About Martinet and how things are and how that could be. Everett and I have had these long talks where
he says his little pen, where he tells his little pen man exactly what to say. It's come propaganda. Simple and plain. Should you be ashamed of yourself? Are you a caviar socialist? The old man starts laughing.
I don't even consider myself a regular socialist. Politics is not really something I involve myself in, officer.
How can you write those newspaper pieces if you're not political, but you need to believe in something? That's smart, I keep my nose clean. No. How can you write the newspaper pieces if you're not political?
Officer, I have a vivid imagination. And like that, I have a way with words. That's enough. No need to sink in politics.
He just fluffs it up. Of course, don't sink into anything. Don't sink into any fight. Only sink into your couch. So you are a weather vane.
I prefer highly adaptable myself. Has a better ring to it, don't you think?
Oh dear. The carabiner closes his eyes like he's never going to open them again. Thanks, that's all for now.
No, thank you,
He smiles. He nods rather, smiling wide.
for being consummate professional. You have the case right up in no time.
I want to ask you about the union again. I don't want to ask you about the union again. You know what? That looks delicious, though. Can I have a bite of the sandwich?
I'm sorry, officer, but I don't charge food.
He says and quickly adds,
Nothing personal, it's just principle.
the only one you have. The sandwich looks like a culinary wonder, well made and abundant in components. The author sure knew their craft. In addition to the obvious slice of ham, a fat one, you notice a brim of a tomato peeking out from below. And is that mayonnaise? Okay, I'm not that hungry anyway. I'm not gonna push the point.
Oh, that's good. That's very good.
He's visibly relieved.
You must have further business then.
That's a rhetoric roll for us right there. What's lowering? The bum hat is lowering my rhetoric at the moment. Take that off. I do think I have a couple ways to increase my rhetoric. It's none of those, though. Wait, the Ledger of H... That's not even rhetoric. Okay, never mind. I don't have ways to increase the rhetoric. It's fine. I'm not sad about it. I want to tell you that I...
Purity of snow always reminds me of the purity of a man's soul, if he's got principles.
Renee, I found your guard booth. Yes, the Debators Union pays me to stand vigil during the nights. He looks down. Not that of any political allegiance, mind you. I'm an old man, don't sleep more than a few hours every night anyway, and money is tough. He adds with a slight sigh. He feels like he has to justify himself for some reason. So you're picturing there. You were in it. You looked happy. Who's the girl? His features stiffen and he gets a cold look. She is nobody. This is none of your concern, and I refuse to discuss my private affairs with the RCL. The
lady is Jean-Marie Bailly.
Gaston speaks with a soft voice.
And she sure as hell wasn't a nobody.
You must have seen something on the night of the murder. Your booth looks right into the yard. Yes, it does. He nods. Unfortunately, I was not working that night. Been on a 2-week leave ever since last Monday. So who was working your shift last night? No one. The booth has been unmanned since last Monday. He looks suddenly very old and tired. There is no other guard. It's just me. No one has been guarding the container yard since last Monday?
Yes.
He nods before hesitantly continuing.
It's not actually an issue. I mean, look, officers.
His partner jumps in.
The container yard doesn't need a guardsman. Never had one before, Rene. Mr. Claire always had that booth built specifically for him. It's mostly decorative.
Mostly decorative?
The possibility of someone in there is enough to discourage any ill-mannered individual.
He tries to argue.
Efrat created this shop for Rene because he knows the Royal Caribbean's pension of honor and PTSD isn't something a man can live off.
A decorated kingsman. Wait, hang on.
A decorated kingsman collecting tile reflects badly on the whole neighborhood. His words.
Everard gets it. Big guys looking after the small and everyone working together. I love it. Such dependency only weakens man. Renee is but one man. We need a program to get the elderly back in the job market, keep folks motivated, or Renee should rent out his services, invest the profit, get it. Okay. Well, Okay, so the first and third options here are clearly the kind of like left politically aligned ones. The thing is, I think the first is more like, it doesn't imply structure or organization, but like a program kind of implies structure and organization. So effectively, like one of them is a little bit more, or one of them is more anarchistic than the other. And that's kind of like people working outside of structure. But the thing is, like, I guess Everard implies a structure as well. Renee is but one man. We need a program to get all the elderly back in the job market, keep folks motivated. Look, officer, he pauses like he doesn't actually know how to reply. Can we conclude the topic of my guard boost now? Got it, thanks. Yes, like I said, he brings it up again. I would be up anyway, so might as well keep an eye out. It helps keep my sense of sharp. Do Maybells mean anything to you, Renee? He glances at it and frowns. I prefer the old name. Insulinde and Lily. Girls brought them to the young cadets when they entered the service. Wearing them on your cap was supposed to bring good luck. Hold on, this is a royalist military tradition? It used to be, he says with a sigh, but the communards were fond of them too. Called them revolutionary flowers, bells of the revolution. Did they bring you good luck? You know what? He falls silent and an emerging smile withdraws. No, they brought me misery, force up and disappointment. The revolutionary solid them. You stirred up some bad memories there.
But it wasn't a revolution, he said, solid the idea for who was it?
He looks at the old soldier almost gently.
She gave them to me too, and your jealous little heart just couldn't accept it.
Enough, he cuts in sharply. I can go over these matters in detail with you, Gaston, but not while we are company. So, officers, Maybells don't blossom yet, do they? The lieutenant quickly asks. Maybe they do on some remote parts of the city? The old Caribbean shrugs. But I think you have to wait for at least a month. You seem to be playing in a crater. Yes, the man nods. The terrain here provides an interesting variety to a familiar game. Was it made by a sea monster rising from the depths? Was there an earthquake here? Does it have to do with all the bullet holes I've seen around? Yes, he replies with a reluctant nod. It was left by heavy artillery fire. Wow. These French accents are all over the place right now. Anyway, okay, it's a crater left by artillery fire, but why? Well, what? Why was every artillery used? Because that's what happens when communards hijack your country, execute your supreme leadership, and turn your capital into a slaughterhouse. You use heavy ordnance to clean up your home. Did you use artillery fire against them? Sadly, no. It was the foreigners who brought them to their knees. We fought valiantly. Too valiantly. So valiantly we got licked, he adds, squeezing a bowl in his fist. should have fought dirty, like they did with their suicide, sex cult propaganda and mad anarchist women strapped to shrapnel bombs. We didn't so. We lacked caliber. God bless him, but the suzerain's cannons simply weren't big enough. It was probably a lot more complicated than that. Why show them here in Martinez? I'd bomb this place? Wow! They must have chosen a place away. They should have chosen a place away from people in buildings. Yeah. I mean, like... What? I can't imagine this was like a military installation. Yeah, it's a port town, but even then... I'm gonna say that. They should have chosen a place away from people and buildings.
The place is a damn beachhead, son.
Nah, hang on. Wrong voice. This place is the damn beachhead, son, he says, pointing to the bay. They had to soften up the commies first. The beachhead? Yes. He nods, inspecting you with some disdain. The military coordinated amphibious landing to take back Revachol. He finds your lack of historical knowledge troubling, a sign of mental deterioration in preceding generations. Martinez was used as one of the 3 footholds in Revachol during Operation Deathblow in 8. The other 2 have been Stella Maria and the Delta. He points to the northeast. Deathblow. Sounds grim. This here is Blood Ground, where the coalition boots first made landfall and cleans those rabid dogs out. Most likely, he says, looking down at the soil, with planes petanque on the mango corpses.
Blood ground.
The other one shakes his head.
You got Andre going here, like he isn't angry enough already.
Hold on, the coalition? Sure, say that. He grunts. Don't get me wrong, officer. I hate those foreign dogs. But the enemy of my enemy and those that, they're the lesser evil. Actually, I already know all this. I just wanted to know if you do too. Yes, damn it, I know. They let the fire hell on this city before they bombed it. And it worked too. There's a strange gleam in his eyes. The rest of the city got cleaned up, but Martinez is kept as a monument. A dark shadow runs over his face. And now the Union Socialists are practically running the place.
Well, it's your own damn fault,
the jolly man remarks.
We, the coalition, Revachol, whoever you want to blame, never finished the job. Officially, the party never surrendered. Of course, they hold influence.
You don't even begin to truly understand the players on the table, let alone the specific circumstances surrounding the... He stops mid-sentence and says to you, what do you think? Thinking men have opinions on these things. Present one. Commies just don't understand how money's work. Oh. No. The house should be. Sub-socialists pacing the way for hard working class to take. Yes! Foreign powers cleaned up their mess, and now they rule us. Yikes. So the options go me. Right. Number 1, me. Number 2, xenophobic at the absolute least. Number 3, ultra-liberal. Number 4, also kind of ultra-liberal. Oh, this is moralist, I guess. And then ultra-liberal, and then nothing I don't think I do. So, obviously, we go for them. Preposterous! Sorry, you don't mean it. He frowns. I'm just sorry it had to be them. After 8 years of fighting those commie hyenas, boiling cats for food and drinking piss in the mountains, I would have preferred the Artolamo King Guillaume return to Revachol, or even that damn clown Frizel had risen from the grave and led us. Sadly, that was not the case. This royal failure weighs heavily on him. Instead, all that is just, holy and beautiful in the world was wiped away, and not neon signs and two-space ads everywhere. Everywhere. Well, there we go. Foreign influence peddling garbage and stupid music on the radio. He sighs. This is just what the commies wanted. It was a plan all along. This is what they wanted to replace the rule of suzerain with. I really wish we could actually respond to that, Because that kind of like is invoking a little of the literally Nazi conspiracy theory of cultural Bolshevism or cultural Marxism. The kind of transforming the world through culture towards a communistic, Marxist, etc. And but Renee here is kind of expressing that a little as though as though this is the world that is actually being enforced by it. Really wish we had the ability to converse about that. But how does Philippe III factor into this? Point towards the monument. He doesn't, the veteran replies sharply. That was 100 years ago. It got nothing to do with anything. You mentioned Frizzell? Damn Frizzell. He was a king we couldn't protect. The carabiners failed him. And the crown. The old veteran falls silent and massages his chest. He died at the hands of the oi polloi in a very public execution. He slouches as he says that. It makes him smaller, admitting they left the king to the mob. You mentioned Guillaume? A true king in both blood and mind. Led whoever show before Frizzell. He would have been better, but the damn commies drove him into exile. He left. Wait, Joyce says Guillaume ran and his nephew Frizzell was shot in his place. Commies didn't drive Guillaume out. He left, and when things got bad, he left. He left when things got bad and left Frizzell to take the hit. This is communal propaganda. Guillaume would never do some things like that. He's alone. There is not a shadow of a doubt in his mind that this is the truth. What exactly is a suzerain? The suzerain is the king. As everyone forgot already. He then slowly nods and says to himself, they forgot already. Soon, they will forget everything. Him too. He chooses anger over melancholy. Interesting. It's no use talking to you. You were still in daddy's balls when it happened. When we took our last stand against the filth and rode the cavalry straight into gunfire. Is there anything you can tell me about this rifle? Hold out an antique firearm. It's a Berrois Grave, he says, taking the rifle. 4.46 caliber, wheat loading, revolution made, good weapon, accurate and reliable. This one's inoperable. The bolt spring is missing and the mechanism is jammed shut. Still a beauty, he adds, handing the rifle back. Where did you find her? What do you mean find? This is my rifle. I have always have it with me. There are many like it, but this one is mine. In that basement there. I'm not surprised. He looks at the building. There are probably lots of forgotten wartime weapons laying around here. Back in the day, everyone had something stashed away. As for the rifle, I don't know what else to tell you. He shrugs. These BM 446s are an antique. No one uses them anymore. The ammunition is impossible to find. Okay, that didn't give us anything extra in composure. I saw the statue of Philippe III near the roundabout. Yes, King Philippe III on his steed, a reminder of what Crevachol once was.
Absolutely.
He smiles as if reliving a pleasant memory.
At the mercy of the cocaine-snorting tyrant who emptied the treasury so he could sleep on a bed of gold.
A superpower, feared and respected. A testament to what the country can be under the leadership of a true king. Someone who knows how to rule. How should a true king rule? Decisively, without fear of offending and sensibilities of the frail and weak-minded among his subjects. This is something the insurgents never understood. Seems to be a leader should take care of his people before himself. Powerful leaders afraid to... No. Well... I mean, that's like one of the clear dichotomies between progressives and conservatives, right? How much you care for the disenfranchised, for the disadvantaged, for those unlike yourself, and for those that are suffering. For a while, I started to think of politics broadly as a scale of empathy, of effectively right to left in increasing empathy. But nothing is as simple as that. Like, it's not just a spectrum of right to left. It's not. People extend empathy towards certain groups and not other groups. You can be an incredibly empathetic racist. Like, obviously, I wouldn't consider that empathy. I would say that empathy has to be more broad than that. But there would be the argument proposed on the other side of, well, no, that your empathy doesn't have to be extended broadly. Which is one of the reasons that I've since abandoned that kind of vision of the spectrum. That said, like, I still believe, like, entirely broadly in empathy. So yeah, seems to me a leader should take care of his people before himself. Like, what's the kind of like often quoted, a country is only as good as it treats the least of its citizens, or something similar to that? Oh, a measure of the country is not how they treat their best, but their least, their worst. That usually refers to criminals, right? Because the whole least worst there has like strong, heavy negative connotations that you don't necessarily want to add when you're talking about the disenfranchised, the downtrodden, the oppressed, especially. A nation is only as strong as its leader. That is why such madness to try to... See, the whole, like... The whole kind of strong leader, like... It's constantly used as effectively like a fascistic thing. The appeal towards the strength of the leader who is uniquely superhuman. Don't get started on that again. What happened happens. There is some weariness in his voice. He's heard this rant many times before. The Carabiner doesn't reply, but his entire being communicates unbreakable resolve. No one and nothing will change this man's mind. He is rigid as they come, still in that antique uniform. It's a symbol for him. What was this about cocaine? Old Philippe was a big fan of the nose purple nose candies the nobility loves so much. A cocaine connoisseur of sorts. He chuckles. His egocentricity is borderline legendary. You can't even take responsibility for yourself. How can you fathom the responsibility weighing on the shoulders of a ruler? He asks, obviously annoyed. Ugh. That's why the Philippine kings use cocaine, for quality of vision, to aid in their work. Regnum cocainium. Whoever shows past years. He seems to be growing taller, brimming about the pride of the past. Yeah, but, if anyone else, say, I'm gonna say someone less well-off in terms of status, if they had a cocaine habit, I'm sure that you would feel differently about it, Renee. You wouldn't have the whole kind of your empathy, effectively, that you have for the ruler here. How can you fathom the responsibility of weighing the shoulder? You can't even take responsibility yourself, that kind of thing. Like, oh, they must have needed this to cope. But you will only ever apply that upwards. Of course, the lieutenant marks dryly. Clarity of vision. Awareness. Not things I would usually associate with it. Philippe III. Wait, hang on. It's not that one. Philippe III was even brought into this world with the help of cocaine. The court medic administered a dose to his mother when she was in labor. It is well known with the help of cocaine. Only the poorest, of course, he was able to connect with higher realms. Higher realms? Of course, it all makes sense. He's just making excuses for the king's habits, isn't he? I drink alcohol and go to heaven. What about higher realms? Sounds interesting. Such responsibility requires a boost every now and then. Nope. Seems irresponsible behavior for a monarch. Drug users shouldn't even operate heavy machinery, much less rule countries. Definitely not whilst using. I don't want the fourth exclusively just because it carries kind of like a negative view of drug users. I drink alcohol and go to heaven doesn't really say anything. I mean, it does say something. My character is trying to play into the kind of whole alcoholism thing. What was that about higher realms? Sounded interesting.
He's really not.
He turns to Renee.
Please do spare us the cock and fairy tales.
Yes, indeed. We are not here to investigate the dark trade of centuries past. Let's talk about something else.
What?
Oh man, looks at you, standing tall and inquisitive. All right, you know what? Let's see if I can do anything with my composure. Composure is only so far increased. No composure boosts there. Well, my composure is... No, it's my authority that's being limited by the Ledger of Failure and Hatred, yeah.
The purity of snow always reminds me
Get
of
him.
the purity of a man's soul. If he's got principles.
All you observe is a veteran refusing to let go of the past. And his old uniform. It's not uncommon. He catches your glance and nods.
This is the uniform of the Royal Carabiners in service of Frisel the First, Guillaume le Lalonde, and the valiant King Philippe the Fifth before him. Don't you mean Philippe the Fourth, Frisel the Fourth? You do not speak his name, Crevin. Jose, he was a clown, he adds. He turns back to you. But he was a clown. As to Ezekiel and to Mon.
There's something you missed. You'll get to it, don't worry. I mean, I do want to get to it, but at the same rate, maybe I'll learn a little bit more about right now to get another roll at it later. Or maybe what I do is actually increase my composure and give myself another run at it. I think so.
The purity of snow always reminds me of the
Failed.
purity of a man's...
That sucked. I do want to increase my composure though, so I'm happy to do it. Tommy Lahom, do you have any new information for us, friend?
Now it's turning into a kind of a snow limbo, man. What's on your mind?
Don't need to talk to you, but I'm glad to see you're still doing well. We should probably come down here and see if there's any of these that we can actually buy. Plastic macaronis with humanitarian aid. This says humanitarian aid tuna fish, not for resale. This says food gift from the people of Messina. This says speakers from the people of Samara. So now that I know that they're all kind of like stolen goods, maybe I can do something here. You see a Samurai, a street vendor, surrounded by a motley assemblage of goods. When he realizes you're looking at him, his face breaks into a wide, welcoming grin. The name Sileng is embroidered over his breast pocket.
Happy shopping, officer. Everything's cool here.
He gives you a thumbs up. What's so cool?
Everything's cool. The goods are cool, the customers are cool, the place is cool. And one more thing, officer. You're very cool.
He makes both hands into finger pistols and fires a few finger bullets into the air. You feel a twitch in your index fingers. There's a finger shootout of brewing. Whip him out!
Don't shoot, officer. Have we got an arrest here, or just a shakedown?
He raises his arms in mock alarm. A shakedown.
Good one, officer. You're a funny guy. Now, what can I do for you?
He nods towards his shabby wares. I'm not gonna actually try and hold him up with finger guns here. Just kidding. I'm really here to shake you down for some answers to official police questions.
Fire away, officer.
Thought gain, finger pistols, 9mm. I'm gonna learn that as soon as possible. In fact, I can internalize it right now. -2 on self-warfare. My self-warfare is garbage already, though. You were promised a gun. That much is certain. This is why you became a cop. Yet here you are, loitering around with idle hands like some sorry-ass loser from the street. Suddenly you're supposed to be solving cases by what? Like talking to people? How are they going to believe you can protect yourself? And them from savages without a firearm? Hey, that ain't right. You need to think around this problem. And you need to snap your fingers at people as you do. Learn it. No reason not to, I don't think. What kind of stuff are you selling here? Only the coolest goods in Revachol. I got sneakers, speakers, extremely comfy pants too. Try them on right here. No shame, only freedom. Where'd you get those comfy pants? Do you have a permit to sell all those? Is there a discount for cool officers like me? Do you have a permit to sell all that? Good joke, officer. Here we don't have permits, just economic freedom. Take a look around. He takes a deep breath. You glance at the decrepit buildings, the miserable weather, and the sidewalks strewn with sunflower seeds and dust-choked air. It's beautiful! Beautiful freedom! Kim, is it true? He doesn't need a permit to sell? It is, yes. Anyone can set up shop whenever they feel like it. That's right, no permits, no bureaucracy. That's why this city and its law officials are so cool! Wait, but what are we doing here if there's no permits? Look at King and the police insignia on his sleeve. If you wanted to be cynical about it, you could say we're here to protect the interests of property holders. I'm not, however. Broadly, yeah, though. My man, officer, you make this all possible. Without you, this climate would be extremely bad for business. You're part of the Gotham estate. A Gotham estate? You're right, this is cool. I'm part of a hip, thin, and almost non-existent state apparatus. So cool guys protect businessmen while everyone else lives in the ruins. I can think of cooler things. Boom. But you're a... Whoo, again. No, not that one. Then I'm protecting state lawlessness. I'm not an officer of the law. I'm an officer of common anarchy. I can think of cooler things. Yeah, cool ruins, he agrees. I get to sell quality goods like these by cutting out the middlemen. You don't have to rebuild your house. Live in a crater or live in a tree. He points to a tree. Where can you do that? Only in here. You're pretty sure you can live in a tree elsewhere too, but he wouldn't believe it anyway. Is there a discount for cool officers like me? No need for discounts and sailings, officer. Everything's already on sale. He nods towards the crates. Anything you want, 50% off. Did he just first mark them up to 100% just so he could put them on sale? Are those things really on sale, or did you just jack up the price first? My man, you know how the game is played. You and me, we should work together. What do you think about that? Shake things up? He winks. Where'd you get those comfy pants? I'm an entrepreneur, officer. He begins counting on his fingers. I've got sources, buyers, suppliers, distributors, manufacturers, wholesalers, all extremely cool and above board. That's all. Let me ask you some other stuff. The food packages you're selling have humanitarian aid written on them. How come? You mean these delicious pre-packaged shelf-stable meal kits? Really easy to cook, no hassle. Really cheap too. Buy some, try them out. No hassle? There's a little bit of hassle here, it happens. It appears. A moral hassle. Doesn't that beat the idea of humanitarian aid? It's supposed to be free, that's what makes it humanitarian. I think one said not for resale on the packaging. No problem here, officer. I get it all from one of my suppliers, an extremely reputable guy. Oh, wait, Humanox? Humanitarian aid? Does your supplier drive the Humanox lorry over there? Point to the lorry with the big Humanox sign on it. What? The street vendor looks over his left shoulder and stares at the lorry as though he's never seen a lorry in his entire life. A convincing performance! Bravo! Look, officer, I'm just the retailer. You're gonna have to talk to my supplier if you got questions about the supply chain. That's how the game works. Interesting. The lieutenant whips out a blue notebook and makes a note. We'll need more if we're gonna pin this one down, he thinks. Good questions, though. Sharp eyes, officer. It's for show, my liege. He knows you need more than this to bust the guy. Later, perhaps. Where are you from, Solang? Me? It's an officer story. Boring. It's an officer story. Boring. It's a boring story, officer. Who cares about the past? I'm all about the business now. All revolution. But you're not a local, are you? Very sharp, officer. I'm from Sarais, from the Sige province of the Sarais Empire. The apricot suzerainty, you know? Apricot suzerainty calls to mind an era where the Sige archipelago was colonized by Revachol. It's a bit of a slur, in other words. Wince, isn't that name kind of insensitive? Very cool. The street vendor nods, his eyebrows furrowed. I admire your awareness of our intertwined histories. It's super nice of you to apologize for colonialism, but the apricot suzerainty is a shithole. That's why I left. That's very clearly... like, It's clearly the analog for the Banana Republics, right? Is that what they're doing here? Right, but isn't it only a shithole because of Revachol? He smiles brightly. If you say so, officer. I don't worry too much about politics. I'm an entrepreneur, you know? Whatever's good for business is good for me. I don't really want to persuade him to give me money, to be entirely honest. That's not how the game is played in my mind. For the moment, though, my name has been Rhapsody. The name of the game has been Disco Elysium. Hopefully, you've been enjoying yourselves. There's a playlist in the description down below with all my content on this game, past, present, and future. And hopefully, we'll see you next time.